There's something to be said about hard-nosed full contact. It's like that raw rap all the way back to boom bap. Spikes up, Ty Cobb inspired killing the corners. Heating up with recklessness, we still getting warmer. Nevertheless, nothing contest, we bring it best. Wile E. Coyote mixed with Roadrunner, full comers. Holding your title hostage, the kings we smoke others. You're either with us or against us, it doesn't matter which. Scouting your weakness, we bring the wrath when we hit. There's never been a squad as raw as trash goes can spit. You might get bashed with a stick while I'm pounding the fence. Look around, you're a fish while I'm rounding it quick. Take a look at the base and sprint off with a fist in your face. No remorse, no mercy, no force can hurt me. The scouts purposely bring the pain, come try to work me. But there's a crew of dirty cats.
Yeah! Thank you, Little John. Welcome again to the number one program on the internet. Yeah, I'm going bold this evening. Bold!
Yeah, I was out there, boy. Jump out on food.
Yeah, shout out to Little John, one word that changed the music industry and made him a lot of goddamn money. Nobody else caught that one.
Yep.
I was gonna grab my new bass because the song, it's a bass in your face. I was gonna put the bass in your face. Anyway,
no, that would have been full on dad joke. Like, I don't know. We pride ourselves on being above dad jokes around here.
I don't know that I could say that about myself. But hey, week off. Week off. I would love to tell you that we're refreshed and recharged, but that would be complete and utter bullshit. And we keep it real here on the Glue Guys program. But we knew we weren't 100% recharged. We knew we were not 100% back in the game. So we're calling little help tonight. Little help. Now, there are some people that would say they never thought this day would come. There are some people who would say that I was full of shit if I had announced who our guest tonight was going to be. Well, listen, guys, hell froze over. Kinder, gentler Glue Guys program. I don't know. There has obviously been things in the past, and at the end of the day, we need to get rid of that shit. The more, now that I'm back playing, Los has always flown this flag. Too much you motherfuckers, too much negativity out here, man. Too much crying and bitching, and that's a great one, Facebook user. But that would fall into that category. And you know what?
Oh boy,
that might happen.
Boy. Yeah,
that might happen.
Hey, look, I'm just looking for positivity and peace and all that good shit.
Yeah, so we're trying to, we came in with the new season.
Boy.
We're trying to be a little. That was great. We're trying to be a little more positive. We're trying to lead the charge. So let's set an example. I guess the best way to do it. So without further ado, our guest tonight, you could say is a controversial figure in the softball world. But you also have to give him his flowers and what he's been able to elevate in the softball scene, and even I will do that. You cannot deny the impact that this gentleman has had, and it's someone that we have always had an open invite for the show, and I was very, very happy that we got to have a conversation at the last tournament I played in, and that he was interested in coming on, so we made that happen, folks, and without further ado, hopefully that was a proper introduction. I give you folks...
I like it.
I give to you, our wonderful audience. You are right, Corey. That's happening, by the way. That idea is not going away. But we're fucking up my man's intro. Folks, lo and behold, Mr. Dre Bogan joining us on the Glue Guys program. Welcome, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, that was a hell of an intro. Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys. What's going on?
Goddamn chat, messing with me, messing with my rhythm, but then again, that's like part of the show now. Obviously, we want to, I've been wanting you on for a while, but now you're here, you can kind of jump in the topics with us tonight. I think we have a really good list of stuff to talk about, and we're going to get started because we're going to keep it a tight show tonight. People got to be places, not me, but Can
I say something real quick? Shout out Corey Miller. I've seen the last couple weeks, or he's been bouncing around, and he filled in last week. So shout out to my man Corey Miller. Great job last week.
Hey,
you guys always hold it down, but I got to show some love to my guy.
Corey's not gonna let it go because he was on week before last, and I wasn't on video, but it's even funnier to me because he's like, yeah, Los just decided he wasn't gonna show up and play video games, and I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, shit, why am I fucking playing video games? Yeah, I see you, Corey. I see you though.
Corey's our backup fighter. Corey is our backup fighter.
So he's Kobe Covington out here, bro? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm offended. Fucking and Corey should be offended, goddammit.
Well, no, he comes in every Wednesday night. He makes the weight, right? He's waiting in the wings just in case.
Okay.
So look, you had an injury, all right? Like,
he'll probably ask for the link, like right before the show starts. He'll probably be like, hey, I don't have the link. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, that's why I did it. See, that's the key of being a producer, bro. I make decisions. I told Mark, I was like, look, bro, I'm not gonna be on the show. He's like, what? I'm like, nah, y'all got it. He's like, I got Corey. I'm like, y'all got it. You good? And so I was playing Overwatch and I was watching y'all suffer. And then,
let's not forget.
So I watched y'all going like, oh shit, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I love it.
Then of course.
It was comedy for me. Trust me. I was on my other stream and I was laughing. I was like, I'm gonna just type some shit. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna get on audio. I'm not gonna get on video. And I was like, man, the style points just went up like 100 points right there. And then Corey's like kind of waiting for you to say something. And there was a moment where you could tell you were just like. I enjoyed it. It was thoroughly enjoyable.
This is where we got to give Dre's flowers. He's smart enough to keep it a one-man program. So you know what? Once you get a little popular,
that's right.
Diva shit doesn't happen. This guy literally started another stream while our stream was up to make fun of our stream on his other stream. That's diva shit, all right?
That's style points right there, bro. That's style bender points, boy.
Come on, renegotiate the contract before season 3. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep then. I'm going to drop over here and do one of these, all right? Some 11-year-old out in the Glue Guys crowd. Receipts, baby. Anyway, let's go right there, all right? Let's jump right in. Look, we're big UFC fans. I know Dre's with us. So, hey, we had the rematch, all right? Technically fight 2 or 4, depending on how you look at it. 2 are kickboxing. But listen, man, let's start at the top. Got it done. Second round KO. Style bender. I still can't fathom playing possum when that big dude was throwing his big mitts at you. But, he did it. Played possum, and they gave him the 2-piece. And everybody forgets the jab, but it was a 2-piece. Then he knocked him out with the overhand right. And then just for good measure, got him with a hammer fist when he was out cold on the ground. And then, of course, takes the celebration from Alex with the bow and arrow. Gentlemen, Style Bender's back. Los, what do you say?
Hey, man, I look, I know we talked about this fight a little bit. We didn't talk about this one as much as we usually do. Like, we just kind of went into like, this is going to be a good, we were like, this is going to be a good card. And we kind of left it at that. Usually we're a little more excited. We're a little more focused on, okay, this is one picking, this one I'm going with. Thought it was a great fight. I thought, the first round obviously was a great, great exchange. They were feeling each other out. It wasn't really, overly aggressive. It didn't seem like everybody was trying too hard. Everybody's trying to make sure it worked. I thought it was a great fight. I know that there are people now who are suggesting, well, he didn't do that on purpose. Dude, that's the fight game. Cut it out. Great fight. I love the celly. I know I mentioned that like the moment the fight ended, the celly was what it was worth. I did watch a lot of people in MMA who are all fair weather idiots anyway, for the most part, who went immediately to the whole, oh, that's not classy, have some class, guy, because he did the arrow and then he did the sleep, based on his kid, on Alex's kid. I thought turnabout's fair play, dude. And if you remember in the kickboxing fight, Alex was all in his face and screaming at him on the ground and all that shit, and everybody's like, yeah, that's kind of shady. I'm glad Izzy got it done. I still like Alex Pereira. I think he's a great fighter. But I'm always gonna say I'm a big Izzy fan, so I'm glad he was able to bring it back.
Yeah, one quick comment is, you want to talk about class. Let's talk about when they met afterward. And even in the ring, Izzy made it a point to say, like, listen, it doesn't matter. This guy's a great champ regardless.
Absolutely.
All right. And then he went up and shook his hand out in the back room and whatnot. But look, man, if in my opinion, and Chael Sonnen is the one who I'm going to agree with. He goes, "Hey, loved it." Izzy went full heel. Loved it. Loved it.
I agree.
So wrestling UFC connection. I mean, now they own, it's owned by the same company, but that's a whole nother story. So, Dre, what did you see from the last style bender there Saturday night?
I saw the king take back his throne. I mean, the history between him and Pereira, very well known if you're a fan of the fight game. I almost think it was better for Izzy that he lost the fight that he did, and he said it himself in the post-fight that it made him hungry because no one was really testing him. But I will say this, the same people that are saying that he was classless in the way that he acted at the end of the fight are the same people that liked it when Caitlin Clark did this.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't like it. They didn't like it when Angel Reese and LSU had the answer. So, I was happy to see Izzy win, and social media shows you so many extra things after the fact. They met backstage after the fight. It's about putting on a show in front of the fans, but they showed each other mutual respect afterwards, and you got to appreciate that. But as far as what he did to the kid, look, the kid had his moment in the sun when he did it right next to Izzy in that fight. Mocked him. So the fact that Izzy was able to get that off in front of the kid, I'm not. I got a 4-year-old son, and he likes to talk a little bit of trash. But when I get back at him, I let him know about it too.
If anything, Izzy should send him a check for parental advice, because he taught that kid a valuable lesson, the same lesson that I was screaming about with the whole bull crap with Caitlin, Clark and LSU. And listen, win the game, all right? Win the game. It's that simple, all right? If you don't like the shit talking, don't play, because there are people who use that to their advantage. And the fact that so many people had a problem with it just proves it's going to keep happening, because if you truly want to win at what you're doing and you want to be the best, you're going to take every competitive edge that you can get. And if me running my mouth is going to help influence what you do on any sporting event, I'm going to use that. As a matter of fact, my example is I wear a bright orange helmet. And I say a lot of things on this show that got guys taking a lot of swings a little harder than they normally would if I happen to be pitching. Don't think for 1 second I'm not trying to use that to my advantage. Now, look, am I going to get one hit at me? Eventually, yeah. But that's why I look like a hockey goalie now. Anyway, I ain't mad. I am not embarrassed to be wearing literally goalie equipment out there now with the way these guys are swinging bats.
That out-of-state kid, he has something to say to you at that last tournament, and then you got him to foul out.
Man,
look, you wanna run that risk.
Listen.
Run that risk.
I thought, hey man, I know we talked about it at length that one week, but Dog was up there really talking shit too though, and he was really in the box, like he was really in a position where he was like, yeah, just throw me a pitch, bro. He did, and you're going back to the dugout. That's crazy shit, man.
I swear, I said it before, I'll say I was literally trying to behave myself. And when I heard the chatter, it just flipped the switch. I couldn't shut it off at that point. All right, here we go. And even when I was walking off, there's a lot of other things I could have said, and all I did was tell that gentleman to have a nice day. Even after he got sent back to the dugout, I told him to have a nice day. But that's
because you're a politician. That's because you're a politician.
Let's hope that I can continue to get those instead of getting lit up there with various balls coming back at me. And it's a 50-50 proposition either way, folks. Let's be honest. And of course, anytime we mention that video, I have to mention my boy Trey, because the line that will live in infamy. You talked all that trash and you got out.
Man. I don't know if I'd have wanted to play the rest of the day if I'd have did that shit, bro. I'd have been just like, you know what, dude, my toenail hurt. I'd have been like, I twisted my beard, bro. I'm done for the night. I got a sprained ear. I'm gonna let y'all have it right now, bro. That's
load maintenance. It's senior softball over here.
It's a wrap.
Load maintenance.
That's a wrap.
Taking the next game off. Pissing off the fans.
Speaking of that pay-per-view, the Action Man Kelvin Gastelum fight.
Oh God,
Chris Curtis is my guy. Look, I'm a homer on this one. Chris Curtis is my guy, so I was pissed. I mean, I had to accept the fact that largely, the optics would suggest that Kelvin Gastelum won that fight. I was a little bothered. I agree with what Chris has been saying, and also what the announcer said as far as that headbutt having the wrong optics, giving the judges the impression that something a little more detailed for Gastelum had happened. But that was a great fucking fight.
Woo.
From round 1 to the end of round 3, that was a great fight. There was never a point where it was dull. It never seemed like they were afraid to throw him. Kelvin Gastelum's a beast as it is, dude. Dude is a hardworking motherfucker, and has a chin from made of stone, granite, and any other fucking adamantium for that matter. But that was a great fight. What do you think about it? What do you think? Do you think they made the right decision with Gastelum getting the split decision?
I had him winning, but man, I thought about it as I'm watching the fight, and I'm thinking of the other guys in that division, and I'm just going down the list going, he's on the ground. He's definitely asleep. Going down a list of the guys in the division that would not have survived fighting either one of those guys.
Right.
Because both of them were throwing soul-crushing bombs to steal from Duke and Rocky. Soul-crushing bombs. And Curtis took one overhand right from Gastelum, and I marveled at the fact that not only was he still upright, he was breathing and threw back.
Yeah,
I've seen Gastelum knock out some really tough guys. Curtis has moved his way up that list for me. And then my hope is that the loss helps Curtis, because I think Dana can easily put Curtis into a high-profile fight now, even off the loss. There, because it was such a good fight. I mean, Kevin Gastelum had injuries, took time off. I think that was even the most impressive thing, is that after all that time off in ring rust, maybe 2 years, did they say?
Yeah, it was 2 years.
Looked really good for a guy who hasn't been in a cage for 2 years in a fight. So you got to give him credit for that. I mean, he's always been, look, you knew you were going to war if you got in there with him. And Curtis was game to go. He wanted all the smoke. And if Curtis had won, I got to be honest, I wouldn't have been that upset if that's how it went, because they both landed so many good shots. I found it very hard to even try to score that fight. But, man, shout out to Kevin Gastelum. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back in a big way. I love the fight. I think it was a fight of the night. Even with Izzy's knockout, I still think Gastelum and Curtis had the fight of the night. What did you think of that one, Dre?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely thought it was fight of the night. I mean, going back to Izzy's fight, honestly, before he hit him with that combo to win it, he really wasn't showing a whole lot of offense. But again, it was only a couple minutes into the second round. But yeah, it was a close fight, for sure. I'm not exactly sure that the loss is gonna benefit, as far as the quick turnaround and maybe another high-profile fight. I think with the amount of talent that they have in the UFC these days, it's tougher to throw someone right back into something high-profile coming off of a loss, unless your name is Conor McGregor. But it definitely was a solid fight, very entertaining fight, definitely fight of the night in my opinion.
Nice. And then real quick, let's talk about the King of Miami, although Kobe Covington will disagree. Jorge Masvidal and Gilbert Burns. And I said it on this program, I thought it was just a matter of when Gilbert wanted to end it. For the most part, that was true, but I got to give Jorge credit. I thought his defense was really good. I thought he defended well. I just think he made the right decision in retiring. He's just a step behind. The motor function's not there where it used to be.
It was noticeable too.
Yeah, and Gilbert is a high, even at his age, one of the higher level fighters in the division. I got to be honest, I don't know if Gilbert took it easy on him. I don't know if maybe he was having trouble sizing him up, because it took Gilbert a long time to really get inside and start to do his work. I mean, he was frustrated. He made some comments after the fight that he since walked back about Jorge, greasing. He couldn't get anything on him, but I can't remember a point in the fight where, Gilbert really had it close to locked in on anything, and a greasing situation would have prevented that. But anyway, you walked it back. You apologized. I don't know why Gilbert said that after Jorge retired. It was a done deal. Just move on. You won the fight, and you didn't do it in convincing fashion to where.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like he wrecked him the whole match.
Right.
And he just couldn't finish him. It's like it was a struggle. I'll call it that. Struggle in that Jorge didn't look good. I mean, I know I go on. I say it all the time. I'm a huge Jorge fan for lots of different reasons. Jorge just really looked like you said, like he's lost that step. He didn't have the jumper anymore, whatever. And then Gilbert couldn't just put him away. He was having to fight a little bit, to get it done. And so I don't know. I thought it was. I love Gilbert Burns. I think he's a great fighter. But I think he was frustrated in everything that he was saying and how he was going about it. So it didn't surprise me that it went that way.
No, I agree. And I just, at that point, Gilbert just, move on, let Jorge have his minute. Again, it's Colby being Colby. I get that. All right. I can't get mad at Colby doing the same thing he's been doing since he did this personality shift or whatever the hell we're calling it, with number one Taken saying, well, now I'm the king of Miami, and he had a belt made. All right. He texts at Leon about, I don't care, basically, you don't want to fight. Well, I remember the British trying to take away the Americans' freedom before we took it. Here, I'll see you in July. It's kind of like the Conor thing. We joked in text where I said they become him and Cejudo have become characters of themselves at an earlier age. Yeah. Colby's kind of like, bro, you need to think of something new. And I swear to God, the more he tweets, the more I want Leon to take the fight and just whoop this guy's ass and get him out of here for good. Because if Colby fights Leon and loses, he should be gone. That should be the end of this story, period. But shout out to Jorge Masvidal. He went from just a middle card guy with no shtick to making a lot of goddamn money. All right, and is set for life now, regardless of what he chooses to do. He's got the boxing thing now. He's got some other stuff he's promoting. So, much as I railed on him some of his fights because I didn't like that he talked so much shit and then not show up. I got to give the man his flowers. He made himself relevant in a place with a lot of guys trying to do the same thing and elevated himself and got some fights he maybe shouldn't have taken. And hey, he's got the BMF belt. Not a lot of guys can say they technically beat Nate Diaz.
Hey, there's a topic we have here that I really don't want to talk about yet. There's a topic that we have. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that.
Is that the
I'm gonna call it circus boxing fight?
I'll say one thing and then we don't have to talk about it. All right, I'll say one thing.
All right.
I think it is genius. All right, by Jake Paul, and here's why I think that. All right, the big thing is, he takes dives. Guys are taking dives. Fights are set up. It's not real boxing. He's had that hanging over his head even after the loss. He still gets to hear that. Who's the one guy who no one is going to say, all right, is going to throw a fight or dive or get into the shenanigans? Who's the guy? It's fucking Nate Diaz. So Jake Paul, with one swift move, has eliminated the biggest complaint that he's been hearing for, a couple years now. Because no one is going to say Nate Diaz is taking a dive. If anything, everybody's going to spend this money to watch Nate Diaz beat the shit out of Jake Paul. A lot of those, he's finally going to get his ass kicked people, are going to spend the $74.99 or whatever, all right? And they're going to watch it. Now, I don't know how it's going to go. Because I can't get a read on whether Nate's getting some money, if Jake Paul's finally realized he's got to fight a real fight. I don't know how it's going to go. I just know that fighting Nate Diaz was a genius, fucking Vince McMahon-esque fucking move to sell tickets. And that's all I'll say about it.
That was a lot, though, dude.
I'll say
was it a lot of? What else the fuck is there to say? Shit, now we here now. Fuck.
All right, well then, look, then I'll ask a very simple question. We've been doing this show how fucking long? When have I ever been short about anything?
I know. Hey, look, I'm gonna say I just wanted an easier way to go into the story. I don't really give a single flying fuck about that fight, dude. Like, I can't even make myself give a shit. Like all the MMA Twitter and Instagram accounts that I follow, there was this period of time this morning where I was just inundated with that bullshit, and I would just roll my eyes and fucking keep scrolling. And dude, I couldn't give a shit, and I can't find a way to make myself be a little more journalistically objective. I just don't give a fuck, bro. Like, nah, you know what? Fuck that. Look, I like Nate Diaz, bro, and I've been watching Nate Diaz for a long fucking time. But I need Nate Diaz to do two things. Hold on, let me put camera. Whoa. Two fucking things. Shut the fuck up and fucking fight. I'm fucking tired of Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, here's what I'm going with. The last 3 fucking Nate Diaz fights you've seen. Right? The last 3. Did he look like he was going to beat anybody in the top 5?
No.
Top 10?
Maybe.
Who?
I mean, you put me on a fucking spot.
I sure fucking did. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, who was top 3 last time he fought, would you say, in the division?
Kamaru Usman.
So Kobe Covington. The belt.
Kobe Covington was still number 2. Your boy Leon was number 3 or so at that time. You got Jorge Masvidal, who beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. You had, dude, I don't think Nate Diaz would have beat fucking Neil Magny. Let's put it fucking that way.
Wow.
Yo, okay, wow. So is he gonna beat Chimaev? Even though I'm sick of that motherfucker too. Is he gonna beat him? Fuck no. Right? No. I'm looking up and down. Is he gonna beat Gilbert Burns? Fuck no. So I'm like tired of hearing from Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz ends every conversation at some way about how he's coming for his belt. And about the only motherfucker he's gonna beat is Conor McGregor. He's not fucking look, and because the two of them assholes keep jumping up and down in terms of weight classes, that's why I pivoted. Because let's be real, Nate's not beating anybody in the top 10 in either weight class. Okay, so cool. He plays all this bullshit. He fucks around all this time. Finally, he gets this fight with Jake Paul. I can't find a way to give a fuck because either way it happens, it's gonna be a shitty fucking fight. It's going to be not interesting. I'm not fucking paying for it. And we're not going to hear the end of it. And I'm tired.
I didn't say nothing about paying here. I didn't say anything about
You know we don't do that. No, that's not something we advocate here. That's not a part of the Glue Guys program. No, but still, I just can't. I cannot. I can't. I cannot. I will not. I got it.
I will say I don't give a shit like you. But I thought from a public relations perspective to try to have an angle on it, it was pretty smart to do because there are enough people out there. Because I will agree with you on Nate Diaz. Like Nate has those fucking blind followers. Listen, Nate could fight a room full of 12-year-old school children, and you would have 10, 20,000 people outside chanting about Sacktown and his town and Diaz brothers and you know. Like they'd want to see kids get their noses broken. Like they can do no wrong. So are there enough of those people that are going to drop $80? Now, I don't know what they charge for these things. I've never paid for it. It's what, 80, 90, $100 to watch this? It's going to be enough where they're going to make a nice paycheck.
Tired.
Is it going to be a good fight? Fuck no.
Right.
Fuck no. Nope. Hugging. And look, you know what? The fucking boxing scenes in all 3 Creed movies are going to be 100% more realistic than anything happening in this fight, first of all.
Yes. Fuck that. Nope.
Just from how do you sell the fight? How do we get people to buy the fight? What's a name we can... Oh, I know a guy who has always at least had the reputation of being a tough guy, all right? Hard to knock out. It's going to go the whole fight. Oh, hey, look at this. You know? They've been calling me, saying I'm setting up fights. I'm cheating. Well, they're not going to call Nate Diaz a cheater. They're not going to say Nate Diaz isn't going to fight for real. So even if it's bullshit, which it very well could be, I don't know. Maybe Nate needs a paycheck. I don't know how much weed he needs over there. I don't know. Maybe Nate needs a paycheck. I just don't know. So the point being...
Nah, fam. Fuck that. Nope.
But see, look, even you're doing it right now. Well, Nate would never throw a fight. You're selling my point to a certain
Wait, who said that? Who's me?
Well, you're saying no when I'm saying, maybe.
Oh no, I'm saying no. No, I'm saying no as in fuck this fight and everything about it. The marketing, everything, everybody's mom, sister, brother, the motherfucking pin, the fucking janitor that swept up after the goddamn signing. Fuck this fight, bro. I can't stress, and I'm usually like, all right, I can see where they were trying to make that money, bro. Me, dude. I'm usually that guy, and I'm sitting there like, you know what? Fuck this. All day long, my Twitter feed, my fucking Instagram has been littered with Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. Boy. So you're absolutely right that it's brilliant, right? But I just don't give a fuck at all. I didn't give a shit about the last Jake Paul fight. Let's keep it a buck, right? Didn't give a fuck about that one. Didn't give a fuck about all the little fake ass bullshit they were going between the Furies and Tommy Fury's daddy. And I don't give a shit about none of this soap opera ass, fake ass circus Disney Channel bullshit. I'm cool. Now Nate Diaz is in it. Now we got to hear his half stupid ass all day. Because, dude, Nate makes me wonder if I ever question the science of CTE, Nate makes me say, you know what? There's something wrong with getting hit in the face over and over and over, because Nate comes across like he's not sure what the fuck he's saying. Somebody is typing that shit in the background like chat fucking GPT. I'm so fucking good. I cannot be any more not interested. Fuck that. I'm never talking about it again. I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get a third opinion here. Dre said Corey says we're not involving you enough. Sorry, Corey. Sorry. Also, I'm pretty sure that's Mickey offering up more JK and cats.
It's always some motherfucker. Hold on, it's always some motherfucker from the peanut gallery we were talking about. Hey, we need to get someone else involved. You go over there and sit the fuck down. No. No, go ahead, Jay. I'm just talking shit.
All I want to say to Mickey is, you gave your first JK and cat to the wrong motherfucker. Dre should have had it from the get-go. But hey, what the fuck do I know? Go ahead, Dre. Tell us what you think about this Diaz Paul fight.
Yeah, well, you were 100% right on Mickey. Thanks a lot, Mick. JK Inc. Real quick about JK Inc. I went with Proton to a senior tournament in California, so I was exclusively there to announce Proton games. And JK Inc. was about to play in a really big game, some senior championship game, I don't know. But the guy comes over to me. He's like, hey, I've heard your work. If you're here, hey, do you mind announcing this next game between them and some team from the East Coast? So they offered me some money, and I said yes, and it went really well. And JK Inc. loved me, and then my boy, Mickey Czar, ends up on JK Inc., and then he gives his hat to Dave Taylor. So thanks a lot.
Yeah.
There was some shots fired. Like, all that brass hitting the ground. You hear all that ting 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 ting.
Damn. Right. Damn. That's right.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Mick. I'll be endorsing him during games live. But now, as far as
appreciate it, Dre. They never appreciate it.
I've said that a time or two in the last few years. But as far as the fight is concerned, look, it's gonna be, for a lot of people, it's gonna be must-see TV, because of the fact that Nate Diaz is a bleeder. He's always been a bleeder, and so Jake Paul is gonna draw some blood from him. But he's a scrappy dude. It's always been his thing. He's got like so much built-up scar tissue that he has always been a first, second round bleeder. That's just what it is. So I think Jake's gonna draw some blood, and they know that, and that's gonna get people believing that he hits harder than he probably does. And from there, Nate, he's not going to quit. So you're going to get all 8 rounds unless he finds a way to knock Jake Paul out. It's going to be very entertaining for the novice fan that just wants to see celebrity versus a big name that has not looked good in his last 3 fights, like Marlo said. He hasn't been top Nate Diaz, but he's still a draw. And everybody wants to see Jake Paul lose. And you can't take nothing away from these Paul brothers, because I know you guys got some WWE love. Hell, Logan Paul, that dude is phenomenal. I mean, you say what you want about WWE and its fate, but the bumps that this guy takes, like, he was born to be a WWE superstar. So I don't exactly love the Pauls, because I don't know as much about their background and what they do on YouTube and all that, but you can't really knock these guys' hustle. They're about getting that money, and they're doing a damn good job of it. So they keep people interested. So.
Yeah, Logan Paul's been amazing. WWE just signed another contract, 3-year contract, and every time he's in the ring, I mean, listen, they have built Roman Reigns up, and I don't know how much everybody knows, so I'll try to keep it as where you can understand it for you non-wrestling people. Basically, they've built up Roman Reigns to be this just old school Ric Flair type, has the belt forever, amazing champion, unbeatable. All right, and just looking at it, you think Logan Paul, like, why is he even in a match with Roman? What Logan Paul did was make people who are the most shut out, refuse to believe shit people believe that he had a shot to win a match. He had no shot of winning. And that in itself, to have that unteachable thing in wrestling, to be, he has it. And I think he's going to do great. Jake, I don't know what Jake said. Like, they just had that, he just had another thing with Floyd or something, some dust up they say was playing. Like, let it go, man. Let it go.
I took your hat.
You know,
I took your hat.
it is what it is. But anyway, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll get out of the way. I don't know that we're going to talk about it ever again based on Marlos's expression. So enjoy what you did here tonight.
Fuck that shit, bro.
Let's jump into somewhat of a softball topic. Announced, I think yesterday or today, Bell Bank, based out of Montana, is removing their naming rights sponsorship with Legacy Cares Inc., the entity that currently runs the Legacy Sports Complex. Folks, just when you think it can't get any worse over there in Mesa at the state-of-the-art facility, it's not looking good. I decided to try to be a half-ass investigative reporter and did some digging into certain legal things that I can get access to in my line of work, and I will reveal a couple things right now. Number one, some of this is public knowledge. They took out a bond with investors to build that place for roughly $26 million, okay? In that agreement, they were supposed to make bond payments every month. I cannot see the amount of the bond payments, but what I can tell you is they have not made one since October. It's April. They actually went to court in January. Not technically a bankruptcy, but basically to get a stay of execution to say, hey, we're securing new funding, and we'll have this all wrapped up in a month or two. They went back a month after that in February, and the judge went, yeah, you're full of shit. And he gave them till May 12th to have a plan in place with new funding to cover what they still owed. It's April 12th today, and they have no other people stepping up to fund a black hole because they only have $1.7 million operating money left in their bond account, basically, from that $26 million. They have liens against them from multiple contractors who built the property who have not been paid. That list is long and distinguished. I got it. One of the contractors is owed $8.6 million for 2 years ago. They haven't even made any. They basically went to court, said we can't give you anything. So they're going to court and saying, "Oh, we're going to secure more funding," but then they're going to basically the lien court and saying, "Oh no, we can't pay these." So here's my suggestion, everyone. If I were you, I wouldn't spend any money on a league that goes past May 12th, because what happens in this process now, folks, is the creditors, folks who gave that $26 million bond, can literally, after May 12th, go and put a lock on the gates and take, it's going to be called receivership. And they could take it over from Legacy Cares, and then they could do whatever the hell they want with it to recoup their funds. So all those wonderful golf carts that are all jacked up, and there were 20 grand to get done, probably wasn't the best idea when you can't even put fucking food out at the softball fields. But hey, what do I know? It's the premier sporting facility in the country. It's their words, not mine. Go look at the website. But folks, I will be a happy camper if I don't ever have to drive to that fucking place ever again.
Facts.
Agreed.
So,
yes, facts. Fucking hate it. That's why I'm over here hype, bro. Fuck that place, bro. I can't. Nah. Yeah. Nah, man. Nah. Good riddance and goodbye and all that good shit. Good luck, good riddance, goodbye, good night. Fuck that place, bro.
False bill of goods, man. False bill of goods. Trey, you, my friend, have, as I, have had firsthand experience dealing with the management at Legacy. So please, by all means, weigh in on this wonderful topic.
I'm not sure what you mean about the management over there. I think the management over there.
Well, no. But I'm saying you've been part of and run tournaments for NCS over there. So you've dealt with the facility. You've dealt with the issues that players have brought up. You've heard the complaints. Yeah, maybe not so much about the management, but just the whole shit show trying to run a tournament over there.
I got you. I mean, I can look at it from both aspects as a player and the director side of it. I know everybody was all excited about the turf. I mean, turf is what it is. And it's fun to play on until it's 120 degrees outside, because that turf, it's like 170. I don't love it. At my older age, I'm in the infield and my shins and everything is burning, and I'm dark enough as it is, so I blame them. It's a struggle to be able to drink water out there. The food trucks, they're all right, but they're pretty pricey. As an announcer that tries to put my camera up on the fence, there's no fence. There's a net. And then every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's waiting on deck, they sit against the side, against the net. It shakes my whole camera. There's no real service out there. So any game that I'm announcing at Legacy gets cut off 2 or 3 times. I hear more about, I commented on somebody's post yesterday. I hear more about, people doing inappropriate things in the bathroom than I hear about what's happening on the field. So I'm not going to miss that place if they close the gates. I'm not going to miss their complicated process to log on, to pay to park there. I'm not going to miss any of that. The parking thing is just, but
but now we
based
know
on
why.
all those numbers you said, they got to get those dollars any way that they can. So, but
look, the next step is you got to have fat Italian guys in the parking lot coming up and basically bullying you for $20. They're basically gonna be taking cuts out of all the parking. Rather than you trying to work that app, I'd much rather have a big fat Italian guy come up and bully me, and I'll just hand him the 20 for protection on my car in the parking lot. You know what I mean? It's a crazy. They promised so many things with that place and didn't follow through. The turf was going to be cooler because it was a new design thing. Listen, they still owe Field Turf $4.7 million.
The worst part is there's so many different ways they could have done so many different things. It'd be different if it was just like 1 or 2 little niggling issues, right? But it's just issue after issue after issue after issue after issue, compounded by, we're going to charge you as much as we fucking can for the most basic aspects of you using these fields. We're gonna blow up the associations and these organizations that are trying to rent the field. Then we're going to fuck you by having you pay another $10-15 for your people to come, and then we're all supposed to want to be there. Like everything about that field or that complex has always struck me as being very anti-consumer, very anti-community, anti-athlete. About the only thing really not anti-something is the fact that, it is state-of-the-art. It is brand new. It is built with all of these new ideas. It's not always that the technology was implemented correctly, or even that. And when I use technology, I mean the turf, I mean the colors of the awnings, I mean, the locations and all of that. They didn't use the best technology. And we're all supposed to feel bad for them. And they haven't exactly fostered a lot of goodwill with most of the communities. A couple of my sons play basketball. They haven't had great experiences out there, for those tournaments. I have a few friends that are referees and things like that. They haven't had a good, really good experiences, and their experiences mirror what a lot of us in softball have been saying as well. And you can't win when you alienate your consumer. When you alienate your consumer, you alienate the associations that bring those consumers in. Who's going to pay you? Who's going to want to be there? It's nuts, and I'm glad they're suffering.
Yeah, I mean, I know, from my director experience, I was excited to get in there right when it opened, but the way that what they wanted to charge, and Jay, I'll let you weigh in on this in a second too. Yes. What they wanted to charge and what they promised for that money, I said, I will try it. It's the new place, it's turf. But even when I got there, we did January, February there last year, and it wasn't even done. And then looking at the design of the place, like you had all this space and you expect all these people, and you literally put a 4-foot sidewalk in on one side. Yeah. Right? Man. Like they didn't take, for as many people as they said were going to be there, right? They made the design was so half-assed, and this is what I do for a living, all right? The design was so half-assed and so not a participant friendly, whoever's in there. The bathroom, like just throw in the middle. The walkway, they got a 4-foot path where, 3 people can fit across it, yet everybody's going 4 miles between the fucking fields, trying to run a tournament there is hell on earth. Because essentially, if you're using more than the 4 fields, you better schedule a half hour between games to let these guys get across the damn complex. And then moving the fences and stuff was always a problem with them, and every little thing was a problem for them. But then, the guys running it would show up in these fucking 20 grand. I keep talking about golf carts and, oh, you want this and you want that. No, I want my fields to be what they were promised. All right. You told me I wasn't required to have these stupid fucking mats with the pitcher's mound on it. But yet here I am. You won't let me take them off. Right. Oh, you can't touch the turf. Yet your fucking girl's fast pitch already put a fucking canyon in over there where you got it just, the shit they wanted to say, oh, look what we're doing. It was so dumb. They did nothing, the design's hard. Anyway, the money we'd spend, I remember I had said, we're not coming back here after February, because when I can pay half of this price at Cactus or somewhere on the west side of Paloma or wherever, why am I paying this money for nothing? And what are you going to do? You got to turn that to the consumer, right? So, hey, you guys got to pay $500 to play at Legacy, but if we play somewhere else, I only got to charge you $400. There's no reason. But Dre, let me hear you on this one, man. I'm just sitting here crying. Jump in.
Cactus Yards, let's go. I mean, I've always enjoyed it out there. Look, I mean, being a family, family guy, as I mean, we all care about families and the people that come out to watch the games and stuff. It's like, Cactus has the sports bars. You can go in there on your breaks, whether it's with your kids, your spouse, your significant other, your side piece, as a lot of these people have. But you can go in there in the air conditioning. You can chillax a little bit. You got the stadium seating. Some of it is in the shade. They even got a little bit of Mister action out there sometimes. I mean, yeah, you might see a bad hop hit somebody in the throat every now and then, but that, to me, that's baseball. That's softball. Get your glove up. I mean, while talking about the likes of the people watching, Corey Miller, phenomenal defensive player. I've had the privilege of playing. I've had the privilege of playing with him and watching him play, and be ready to make plays is what I'm saying. And Cactus, everyone's like, oh, you get the true hops on the turf, and like I said, your legs are a few shades darker when you're done, and your pocket is a few pounds lighter as well, and just everything that goes on out there. I mean, is playing on the turf worth everything that has come with it? To me, it's not. But whether it's U-Trip, NCS, whoever, finding complexes to play tournaments is a tough test with the kids doing as much as they're doing all around the valley. But yeah, for the money, I'm just not a fan of Legacy. I never have been, and I'm not exactly surprised to hear all these statistics about what they owe. I try not to dive in as much as that. I care about the players and I care about the products. But what a complex is doing to make it rough on everyone else, yeah, that hurts. But end of the day, just put our players somewhere where they can go and ball out, and That's what I really care about.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to take a payday loan out to bring your family to a game, there's a problem.
I think that's the difficulty about it is like, I know my only curiosity, I was very much like you, Dre. I was just kind of like, I don't really care. I didn't want to dig into any of the legalities behind it or the finances behind it until after a while I got curious, right? I started seeing that there were more and more charges and things were more expensive, and kind of to what Mark's saying, what they wanted to charge for rentals and the issues that I've heard, not just from softball, from basketball, from baseball kids, from the girls teams and things like that. Hearing that over and over and over, it starts to make you wonder. It's like, wait a minute, how are you going to pay all this shit if you're fucking over the people who are going to pay you? And then so when I would see some of these articles, and it's become a bigger deal because now, you have like the Phoenix Business Journal, you have Arizona Republic, you have these different, name brand reporting agencies starting to talk about it. And so that's where it kind of got me like, wait a minute. And then once you start looking into it and you see some of the things that are just written in the most basic article, that's where it starts going, okay, you guys were over there just being dickheads. You're fucking us over. You're fucking them over. You're not paying them. And now you're trying to make us pay for you to pay them. And we're back and round and round and round. And it's just a bad look, especially because there are a lot of players in softball were so amped about that field. When those fields were being talked about, when it was, on the way, all you kept hearing is, oh, wait till legacy, wait till legacy, wait till legacy. And I don't know a lot of people who feel that way anymore.
Yes.
We were all very, very disappointed. I know I bitch about the drive and I will continue to do so, but legit, I would have probably shut the fuck up a little bit if there were at least, I don't know, a third of the things that we just talked about weren't the way they are, right? You go out there and it's a great field. Hey, I mean, this is what it is. You go out there and like you said, the screens, you can't put phones up really because everything's wavering. When the wind blows, it makes those nets move a little bit. Plus, fat guys like me leaning up and I'm guilty as shit.
Get the fuck off the net.
Right. I'm like laying against it. Because the worst part is, look, I forgot. I didn't even realize at first that it was net. So I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, shit. And I'm like leaning and I'm like, well, I'm comfortable now. Fuck it, But no, so literally, I feel like in a lot of ways, they didn't consult people who actually play. Even the walkways, right? Even if it wasn't slow pitch softball, and slow pitch softball dudes basically bring suitcases, right, to play. But even the little kids, the little boys, the little girls that are playing, they got bags. They got good sized bags. Plus, you got the moms and the dads that are bringing the wagons and bringing all this other stuff. And you got basically two people on that, on that walkway trying to make their way and push through and move through fastly. It's just bad. I do not wish them well. I wish someone would have done a better job, and hopefully it gets fixed in some way and that we still benefit from it. But I hope that we move more of these tournaments back to the West Side because, fuck all that East Side shit.
All right. Well, let's get away from a bad situation. And just a comment on an earlier chat comment. Guys, unless they're building that thing in South Buckeye, Marlos ain't going to endorse that shit. So stop with that San Diego shit.
Hey, it could be next door.
South
It could be next door. Dude, it could be next door.
Can't be North Buckeye. Gotta be
it could
South
be next door
Buckeye.
and I'm gonna complain. Now it could be at Sundance and I'm a fucking complain. I'm like, nah, drive?
Yep.
What? I'm not driving. You're nuts, dude. It's crazy. Man, we got a couple tournaments coming up though. We had a couple tournaments. We got a few more minutes left,
Yeah, real quick, I want to let Drake kind of, we haven't really talked, man. We kind of, so listen, what do you got going on over at NCS? Kind of fill us in on how things are going. I mean, it's been up and down, obviously, but here's a chance, from your own mouth, the words instead of through 14 people or some stupid post on social media. You could kind of tell us directly what you got going on, what you're trying to do over there.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I kind of like I appreciate being able to be on, having done both sides of it, and because end of the day, I care about softball. I love what I get to do on the mic, and like I've been saying from day one, my favorite part of this is putting respect on names. There's gonna be those haters that talk about NCS, you trip the rules and stuff like that.
No.
Probably because they got caught cheating as a C chip trying to play in an E tournament. Save your tears. But for me, and what I try to talk to these guys about, and what I want to bring to the table is just giving as many guys the opportunity to play ball comfortably. I mean, because I think the stereotype with U-Trip is challenge yourself, play up. The upper players want these D guys to take chances at C and above, and I respect that. At my age, and I've gotten to play with so many of these guys, and I love seeing these 20 somethings go from E to B, and I wish I got into softball a lot sooner than what I did, but a lot of people don't realize that I'm 43 years old. Like, I still try to hang with these dudes, but age catches, Mother Nature's undefeated, in my opinion. Father Time, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it. But
very true.
But I love the game, and if some of these guys got bumped up the D before they probably should have, then at least with us they've got an opportunity to still play some E-ball, and vice versa. If we can ever get a D tournament, some of the guys that got bumped up to C. So it's been a challenge because U-Trip has tournaments every week, but they're doing a good job. Like, I really wish there was a way for the sanctions to come together and talk more and stop stepping on toes. One have E, the other have D. I know it's a money making, I know it's a business, but at what point does it become more about the players overall? So yeah, I'm an announcer, and I can go anywhere and announce. I can put a phone, a Mevo, whatever up against the fence, and I'm gonna do me. But I care about the overall product in the game, and it not being watered down to a 60-5 team on the year. Give these teams alternatives instead of just going to be a filler and go 0-2, 0-3 every week. If they should have still been an E team, then we're giving them that opportunity. And our E program is doing well. We've had some of the top E teams from U-Trip come over, and they left with L's. So there's good teams out there everywhere. Harlem has tournaments where there's good teams as well. It's just a matter of what weekend, who's going where. And if you can have weekends where you're not stepping on toes, then you're going to get the best competition in those divisions at said park. And that's just when it's fun. If U-Trip doesn't have an E going and their E guys come over to us, I get fired up for it. I can't wait to see what these guys do. And the same applies with the senior game. I love being able to call these senior games and being able to comment on the 400-foot bombs Joe Joyce and some of these other guys hit. It's a hella good time to me. I have fun on the mic wherever I'm at. But I'd love to see these sanctions do a better job of not stepping on toes so we can get more talent out at these complexes and just see the best do its thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I've been on both sides of things. That's a loaded question. There is not an easy solution there.
No.
But at the end of the day, if that can happen, I think it will benefit everyone. I know that I tried on the way out to mend some fences so maybe we could get some universal senior rules across both sanctions and start to tighten some stuff up. We'll see how it goes. I don't miss it. I will tell you that. I do not miss it at all. In fact, I'm starting to question even come back and playing some of the things I've seen. But I don't think I missed it as much as I thought. But, I would love to see a little more attention to detail in the scheduling. And I would love to see some directors just cap some shit, man. Please, no more 7 a.m. games. Please. I'm begging. Please. Cap
no
that
more
shit.
What?
7 a.m. games. No more 7 a.m. games.
Okay. I thought you said something
shit.
Else with a 7 in it that I'm pretty passionate about. But
no 7 a.m. games. And then also no 20-team tournaments with 3 fields.
Yeah.
I'm asking nicely. I'm just trying to ask nicely. But yeah, it's going to be a constant battle. It's going to be a constant balancing act between running it like a company and players' needs and determining which players' needs are legitimate and which guy's crying because, they went 0-3 and they didn't hit, It's, we got to pay. We shouldn't have played that team. There's legitimate concerns and complaints, and then there's the, all right, you're fucking butthurt because you got your all-star team together and you got your heads kicked in by a bunch of guys you never heard of. And they differ. Yeah, and I have absolutely been a witness to that bullshit. Yeah, as I'm sure you have too. Well, look, man,
you guys are a good example of it. The last tournament, the senior tournament out there in Maricopa, the team that you guys played with, you started off 0-2. I mean, on paper, I was like, damn, this is about to be a squad for sure. But get those pool play games out of the way, get your feet wet, and then y'all went on a run.
We were 1-1. We were 1-1. We won 1-1. Yeah, we were 1-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
1-1. Then we won.
But I will tell you, the game we won wasn't pretty, but we did win it.
Yeah. We
Did you lose your first regular bracket game though?
Nah, we won the first one. Then we ended up playing Old Spice was the 1 seed. We lost to Old Spice. Then we just took off.
Okay. You should have just agreed with me. Now you're making me sound
man.
stupid.
Hey,
thanks a lot.
I can't help it.
Yeah, but
I do it.
But
you gotta get it too. You gotta get it too. I do it to Mark 24.
You guys were very impressive. Yeah, from the losers bracket, y'all showed a lot of heart, and y'all showed what many of us thought we were going to see from the beginning. So, yeah, not having a lot of fields and having a ton of teams and then having to run those gauntlets, it's tough to have. And I know a lot of people have reached out to me about the announcing and the U-Trip NCS, and I'll say it right here on you guys' show.
And you put it on my dick.
So I can get myself in trouble with my bosses, but I wish I could announce for everybody. I promise you. My son has a good time at the ballpark, so I don't care what ballpark it would be. If I was able to announce wherever I wanted on any weekend, he's going to have a good time with the kids, and I'm going to have a good time doing what I do for these players. They don't want to let me work for the competition, even though other directors go to other. It's tons of fun seeing, like I love me some Marcy, but Marcy is a director with U-Trip and she umpires for NCS. It's weird, but no one wants to let me go announce in other places. So I've never understood that.
I think it's short-sighted. I'm going to say that right now, and I know that because this is what I do. So yeah, I think it's short-sighted. I think it kind of speaks back to what you said about that selfishness about the business. I don't think anyone loses when you're able to announce at different tournaments, at different. It doesn't have to be every tournament, obviously.
Yeah.
But certain tournaments, if you're there, you add a specter to either of those tournaments, and the other tournament doesn't lose by you being at the one tournament or at the one association. I think it is something that benefits the players. It draws people to want to be involved and more engaged in the tournaments, because a lot of the time dudes just go and drink or they go and kick back or whatever. When you're announcing, people are kind of milling about. They're moving around. They're trying to see what's going on. They're watching the shows. They're checking in at tournaments. And I think it draws people to both sets of tournaments. I don't think anyone goes, well, if Dre's not announcing at U-Trip, I'm only going to NCS, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a slight at you. I'm really saying that's why that mindset is it's so short-sighted that you're losing attention. Even being able to say, hey, Dre, look, you want to do a tournament, at another organization a month, go fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? And then you're able to flip that from a marketing standpoint. You're able to flip that as, hey, this is the home of The Voice or something to that effect. But I still think a lot of the time folks are short-sighted. They're not thinking about things as how they can use it to benefit everyone and benefit themselves. It's just me only. So,
because the biggest thing the biggest thing with me when I was with U-Trip is some weekends they didn't get as many teams, so they didn't have it in the budget to use me. Then I'm not announcing that tournament. And then what I'm seeing right now with NCS, we haven't had a tournament, I believe, the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
I could have posted up somewhere else, and there's still good action going on. Shout out to my boys, the Tropics, Craig Reynolds and company. I would have loved to have been able to be on the mic for that tournament last week, and it's just what I enjoy doing. Again, if I'm working with a sanction, I'm gonna give them that respect, no doubt.
Of course.
I've always said I do it for the players. I do it for the community. I love it. B, C, D, E, whatever it is. Good competition and a good game, I'm going to go nuts on it regardless of who's out there. So,
we're going to wrap up here, but I want to say a couple things. One, no matter, and we've had our differences about things and said things, whatever, all right? Whatever's been said, however it was said at the time, all right? I will never take away what you were able to establish and then grow, all right? And more people wanted to have their name called at tournaments. More people like, hey, are we on the field Dre's doing, all right? Regardless of what I said. It doesn't matter what anybody said, all right? Haters and you know, whatever, all right? It's a fact that can't be taken away from you. People can say what they want. They can disagree with an opinion maybe you broadcast, or that doesn't matter. You established something that was not here in a play-by-play genre with the games. And there was always more kids teams than seniors, and you gravitate to where there's more competition to get more variety in the game. So I want to give you that credit right now while we're on the air. Real quick, let me clean up some chat things. Number one, yes, Corey, I even won a game or two that I pitched. You can go fuck yourself, Mr. Conference. All right. Number three, Gabe, while that is true that I won games pitching, you absolutely made a fucking mistake this weekend. All right. And number three, Kevin McDill's right, Gabe. Do not use Bell Bank Park in relation to Legacy ever again. They pulled their naming rights for a reason. Okay? Moving on. Dre, I have an idea. After the 421 NCS tournament, I'm pretty sure I'm playing. Marlos is probably playing. Why don't we bring you back on after that tournament, and let's have you do the tournament recap with us, because you're going to be there.
I am playing that day.
Oh, sorry. So Marlos is definitely there. He said it on air. Now he's fucked. He's locked in. Let's have you come back after the 421 tournament out of Tempe, and you do the tournament recap with us.
Hell yeah. That'd be
You're
dope.
probably going to have a lot better insight than me or Los, because I realized when I played, I missed so many games and so many things happening. I was so thankful that you were running that camera to get the video clips I did, because we did lose that game, actually.
Yeah, we did.
I was just so happy that it was there to have it, because no one would have fucking believed that I did that. No one. So to be able to post that video and be like,
didn't believe you did.
No, I didn't either. Oh, shit.
That's real shit. You didn't believe that.
That is not the pitch I wanted to throw on a full count. I just got lucky he was half hammered and wanted to try to show me up. But thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And maybe it hasn't been said enough. You know, no matter our differences, I do appreciate what you've tried to do and are doing for the game. I have a very split fan base of a love-hate. There's not a lot of middle ground for me and what I try to do as a director. But at the end of the day, I honestly thought I was trying to do the right thing for the game. And I honestly 100% believe you are doing the same exact thing. And for that, you deserve some flowers. And we finally got you on the program. And I always plan to say that, regardless of whether we were arguing about a sanction thing or arguing about whether Roman Reigns should have dropped the belt at a particular pay-per-view.
I do want to say this, a couple things. Yeah, you're. Can you still hear me? Did I hit?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
I just hit a button. Yeah, you're kind of like the white Stephen A. Smith. So you know, you
Don't
stir
make me
it
do the
up.
impression. I'll do the impression.
You stir it up,
He
but you
continues
still,
to pontificate in this
shit.
word. All right, go ahead.
You got him
that's
going.
a really big word. But no, I think in this sports broadcasting game, if you're not stirring up the pot a little bit, I honestly I don't think you're doing your job. I mean, there's not too many great play-by-play commentators or analysts on shows that everything is all, you know, peaches and cream. You know, there's going to be some negatives in it sometimes, and you're not really doing your job if you don't address it. If you're a damn good ball player and you're having an 0 for 4 game, and I call you out on it, be better, you know. And it's one of those things, and I don't want to pick on the women as a whole, but my issues with a specific women's team that caused a lot of drama, it makes it hard to want to do women's games, because everybody loves you when you're hyping the teams up, but if they're struggling and you come down on them, they get in their feelings. So I do what I do because I have a passion for it, and I love it. But there is good and bad to it. But I like that we have our differences, because, you know, it makes for good debates, and Marlos just sits there and laughs at both of us, so it's a good time, you know.
And everybody gets pissed off at me, though. That's the worst part. Is everybody they usually get pissed off at me. They go, well, but they won't say it to me. They'll say it to Mark. They'll go to Mark and be like, well, well, fuck you, dude. And Mark will come to me and he's all political about it. He's like, hey, such and such. And I go, I don't fucking care. Fuck them. And he's like, well, I'm just, dude, I don't fucking care. Like, he's like, well, I told him you probably wouldn't fucking care. Well, repeat it. I don't fucking care.
Look, I've been trying to tell you people since this show started, because when we first started, everybody was like, I'm the asshole, Marlos is the nice one. I've been trying to tell you people, he's a bigger savage than me and Dre combined. Yeah. Biggest savage here. Don't be fooled.
Week by week,
it's like commentary. There's some people that have learned the hard way, that on-field commentary. They come over talking shit, and we're like, whoa. Nah, that's not what we doing, fam. Nah, we not. And they'd be like, wait a minute, I thought, no, you thought wrong. Like, man,
no,
hey,
he's the savage, bro.
Yeah,
he's the savage. But yeah, we're gonna have you back on, man.
Yeah, I will say, because we got to get out of here. I will say, I'm absolutely excited that you're here. I know this is a peel back of the curtain type of thing. I was in Mark's ear for a long time. And in Nikki's ear for a long time about the importance of making sure that we have these types of open communications and that we get you here and get you over here. And we've always tried to, in our best way. And for me, it's always, it's been a tightrope because, there's some little in between you guys. And I was always like, when I'd see you on the field and we talk and, especially when you were making certain choices, and that's why I told you what I told you then was you've got to do what works for you. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that you continue to do what you're doing, that you're doing it at NCS, that, that people are noticing and appreciating what you do rather than just using what you do. I'm looking forward to you coming back, obviously, especially after this show, like Mark said, right after that tournament. I think it's going to be a blast. It's really going to, oh shit, I'm out.
Hold on. Let me get this out now. It's perfect. Let me get it out. Let me get it out.
It just says Facebook user for me. I don't know who said it.
It's Mickey.
It's us.
It's got to be Mickey.
Oh, my God.
It's got to be fucking Mickey, first of all. But second, let's listen, Mickey. The self-promoting king Mickey Czar is forgetting his PR fucking directives, all right? I just dropped Dre, who people said would never. I'm supposed to fucking take away my last ace in the hole. I'm saving JP for when the ratings dip and we got to make a huge move. But just for the record, all of our issues are settled, all right?
Yes.
So to quote the great Eminem, I settled all my lawsuits. Fuck you, Debbie, all right? I'm good with everybody. I'm good with everybody now.
Well.
And just to everybody out there, I don't want to get too mushy, but a lot of people know I've been going through some things. It's never too late to mend fences with certain people, and and I'm happy about that. Me and Mark, we got a lot of East Coast love for each other, and
fuck the Braves, bro. I'm sorry. We can be friends. Fuck the Braves.
Nah, he's always been. You've always been great about encouraging me with what I do and all of that. So, just anyone out there, again, I don't want to go too off topic, but if you ever struggling with anything and you need someone to talk to, holla at your boy. I'll be happy to lend an ear for something outside of softball. Life is more important than the game, but I appreciate all of y'all, and this is my favorite hat. Shout out Matt Webb and company. Be happy because life's too short for anything other than that. So
amen to that.
Let's end on that note. We'll have Dre back in a couple weeks, folks. Until next week, we don't know what the hell we're gonna do, but we'll be doing something. We'll see you 6:30 next Wednesday. Peace.